we decided on this program to talk about how you should manage your finances if you are a single parent. And joining me to talk about that is Kiran Telang, financial planner. Kiran, what in your opinion are the first few things to bear in mind? We just spoke about alimony when it comes to a divorce, but what are the things that you need to bear in mind as a single parent?
Well, I would say, Alex, it's an unfortunate situation of single parenting, whether it is due to demise of a parent or due to divorce. In such situations, finances become very important. So when we look at finances in case of a single parent, I mean, whether it be due to divorce or demise of the partner, there are three aspects that you need to take care of. One is whether there is enough income available to take care of the current expenses. Second, is there enough income to provide for the future expenses, which are essentially your goals? So either there should be income available or there should be assets which are sizable enough to take care of the future goals. So that could typically be, the education, higher education for children or for the own retirement of the spouse. These are two critical aspects. The third aspect also what needs to be kept in mind is how will you protect any loss of income. So, a loss of income can arise from the single parent being, incapacitated, or if there is a demise which happens while the children are still young. Then how do you handle such situations? So these are three aspects which need to be kept in mind. Now, when we talk of divorce specifically, you said you have discussed alimony already. So alimony could be one of the sources of income, or it could be the source of providing for future goals. So if it's a lump sum alimony, it could be invested in such a manner that it becomes available for any future goals like the children's higher education. If the alimony is coming on a monthly basis, that could probably support the ongoing current expenses. But there are pros and cons to each of these situations. So there could be situations where there is a monthly alimony coming in, or interim or an annual kind of a thing. What if the other spouse decides not to pay? So then you are stranded. If you're depending on that kind of income coming in through alimony, it might create a problem in meeting the ends. Also, the other aspect that we forget here is, whether the single parent is himself or herself earning. So there are certain situations where the income by the single parent is good enough to support any future goals. So in such situations, you are in a much better position financially to take care of things. But if there is no income for the single parent, it becomes a very difficult situation.
Yeah, and of course, this is a very conditional case-by-case thing, and it depends from a situation to situation, because a lot of times people leave behind money both in the form of investments, and here I'm talking about a demise, or there is life insurance that provides a bit of a safety net, which is why term insurance is so important to have. But let's talk about a scenario where there is a person who's earning and who has access to a little bit of money, but not a lot, and needs to ensure that they're taking care of both their requirements as well as their child's requirements. So in the order of priority, in your opinion, in the way that you would plan their finances, what is the order that you would decide?
You're talking in case of demise, I believe?
Yes.
Demise of one partner?
Yes.
Yeah. So in such a situation, I think first of all, you need to look at all the sources of income that are available. So like you mentioned, there could be insurance monies that would be available if the partner who has passed away had insurance in his or her own name. It could be either insurance that they've taken personally, or there could be insurance available through the employer. There could also be other assets which become available in such situations. For example, there would be provident fund money that can come in. A lot of corporates provide for superannuation funds also. So in case of demise of the employee, those funds become available as well. So first of all, we need to kind of arrive at, what are the assets that could be available, and make a list and claim all those assets. So a lot of times there are things which are missed out. So it is always better to keep a list of, assets that you have or investments that are available, so that in case such a situation ever arises, the surviving partner is at least able to claim whatever is required. So once that is claimed, then you need to figure out how much will that support, whatever asset size you have received, will that be enough to keep up for the future goals? If not, then either you have to increase the income in some manner, or then you have to, revisit your goals and see if there can be any modification, or there could be certain other assets which could be monetized. A lot of times people have, a second property which is lying idle or it is rented out. So thinking of whether it can be better to monetize that property and use it in a better manner. So kind of juggling your overall investment portfolio to optimize it to suit your future goals. I think that would
Would
be
you
the
say,
priority that I would say.
in this case, would you say more than investments being made for the future, insurance becomes absolutely important, both health as well as life?
See, health insurance is always a priority, whether it's a single parent or it's a normal family with the couple being around. So, health insurance obviously is the top priority in any case. So, health insurance, I'm presuming, would be there. If not, it has to be taken. Especially, in case of demise of a single parent, there might be, and if that parent was a single earner, there might be employer insurance which might no longer be available. So, that situation, then health insurance becomes critical. In a similar case, life insurance also for the surviving partner becomes important. Here, I would also like to point out that when the surviving parent is taking a life insurance policy, normally the children are made the nominee. But in situations where the other parent is not alive, the question comes as to who will be the guardian. So, those are things that need a little thought as to who will be the best guardian in situation where the second parent also is not there.
Important considerations to have. A final question and a quick answer to this. Are there any things that you would say are a no-no in terms of money decisions?
I would say look at liquidity factor. A lot of times people choose options which are pretty illiquid because those are probably the easiest and probably the traditional ones which anybody would suggest. So there'll be a lot of suggestions coming in from friends and family and well-wishers. But think of liquidity as a very important factor in your journey going forward as a single parent. Do not block large chunks of money from places where you cannot withdraw it as in when you need it.
All right. Kiran, on that note, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure speaking with you.
Thanks, Alex.
All right. That brings us to the end of this edition of Your Money Matters. Thanks so much for joining in. Do stay tuned. Lots more coming up on NDTV Profit.